for the day 2 of Ethical and Yogic Excellence, level 1 in meditation. With humble gratitude to the Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji, the founder of Pyramid-Based Spiritual Societies movement. Now I request Ananti Madam to start the meditation. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Master. And welcome to everybody. My name is Ananti. And the meditation we are going to do is called Anapanasati meditation. And I just really thank our Guruji, Patriji, for just making meditation very simple and easy so that everybody can do this meditation irrespective of wherever we are and whatever time possible. So dear masters, make yourself comfortable in a good sitting position now. We can cross our legs and sit. Or if you want to keep your legs stretched out, you can just cross them one over the other, crossing at your ankles. Clasp your hands like this with fingers into fingers and gently place them over on your lap. We can remove the spectacles. If you have the habit of wearing them, you can keep your eyes closed. We will not require to open our eyes. And we are going to maintain silence or mauna. We are not going to talk or chant any kind of mantra now. We are just going to simply observe our own natural breathing process. Whatever we are doing day in and day out, the same thing. We are not going to change the rhythm of our breathing. No forceful inhalation or exhalation or holding your breath inside or outside your body. We're just going to observe the same breathing pattern. Whatever we are doing right now, the same. We're just going to bring our awareness completely to our breath. So it's easy, my dear friends. Let's just begin the practice by just listening to some good music now. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gently place both your hands on your eyes for a few seconds and open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Koteshwara garu unnara?
Yeah, he is there, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much for the wonderful meditation.
Thank you all.
So now I request Dr. Shivanopa sir to take the class. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Koteshwara garu. Thank you, Ananti Madam. Very wonderful, melodious, soothing meditation we have been.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. My dear masters, every one of us, it is very urgent necessity to understand what is meditation. And we should learn as fast as possible, as early as possible, and practice as much as possible without further loss of time. Spiritual science says that there is hardly life without the practice of meditation, because meditation is the life. If you are in the habit of being in meditation for at least 1 hour every day, the day long you will be more happy, the day long you will be more brilliant, the day long you will be more aware are more consciousness, more brave, okay, more courageous, more confident. Just like that, it happens. For that, we need meditation. And automatically, as the mind is, so is the body. Your health also will be. Absolutely, it will be fine. Because the calmness of the mind rules the body. Mind is the ruler of the physical body as well as subtle body. Mind is the central point of universe. If there is no mind, there is no universe. If there is no awareness, there is no universe. And you should take care of the awareness. The more and more you are giving rest to the mind, you will more and more you will be very aware of what you are doing, what you are seeing, what you are understanding. My dear masters, the uprightness, that is thinking, speaking, and doing. All these are based on the sound principles of awareness. As soundly you are aware, that much of perfectly your work, your conduct will be in the same proportion. So, my dear masters, we are very, very fortunate to come and to associate ourselves with the greatest knowledge of the Brahma Vidya. This is called Brahma Vidya. Jnana Vidya is nothing but Brahma Vidya. In Sanskrit, they say Brahma Vidya. That is the greatest knowledge of the humanity. And it is the knowledge of the other side, celestial worlds, upper worlds, subtle worlds, okay? All sorts of, the wisdomful worlds. Every soul, when once they take the body, they have to do meditation. After giving up the body, again you turn over into Atma to go to your own place. Fine. So, my dear master, with this, we would like to go into the spiritual science education program. I will share some slides, from the last day. Yesterday we have been talking about the various kinds of sciences we have to read and how they are beneficial to the humanity. I'll share the screen and I will start from there where we have left yesterday. A slide you are seeing while we were leaving yesterday's class, isn't it? This is the method of the easiest and simplest method, Anapanasati meditation. The meditation is named as Ana, Apana, and Sati. There are three words in this, composed of three words. That is, Ana means inhaling. The air is inhaled. Breathing in. Apana means exhaling. That means breathing out. And Sati means we should keep observing them. You have to be conscious of that. Yes, that you be aware of that. Close the eyes and don't move the body. In order to not move the body, you should cross the legs. Yes. If you sit on a chair, you cross the feet. As Madam has already given you a beautiful explanation as to how to sit in meditation. Similarly, we have to do it. And join the hands also, so that your legs and hands are not in motion, no work for them. So they are withdrawn. During the period of meditation, our whole body should be quiet. No work for the body. That is the idea. It is called in Sanskrit as pratyahara. That means it is withdrawn. All our organs are withdrawn. How our eyes, our mouth, our tongue, everything, no function. So this is the posture of meditation. And then the mind also should be made empty. Empty in the sense free from thoughts. That's it. So everything should be cleaned up. So the mind should be connected to breathing. Then it will get emptied from the thoughts. That is the idea. And this has made a great master called Siddhartha enlightened. After enlightenment, he is known as Gautama Buddha. Okay. So every one of us, whoever practices this sort of meditation, they'll get enlightened and they become Buddhas. This is the target of meditation. When once they are Buddha, then our uprightness will be very, very perfect. What is uprightness? Can you remember that? Proper thinking should be there. Your thinking on high consciousness should be there. And then you are speaking very pure, without any flaw in speaking. It should be refined. And then whatever you do also is flawless. These three things should be in line with each other. Whatever you think, you should speak. Whatever you speak, you should do it. There should not be any differences. You think something else, and you hide it and speak something else. And whatever we speak, we again hide it, we do some other thing. See, this sort of things will not give you any sort of peace in your life. All our lives are badly hit by this sort of irregular practices. This is what spiritual science is all about. If we are aware of spiritual science, we'll come to know first and foremost requirement of human life is be upright. Whatever you think, speak. Whatever you speak, do it. Okay, meditation. This we have already seen. Okay. Now, it is the science practiced by great spiritual scientists. This is not of today's knowledge. This is coming from ages together. And many, many masters have already done this. This is not first time we need not investigate anything. Already the load has been picked up by our forefathers, ancestors. Earlier people, they have already examined these aspects. They have already experienced all sorts of things. They have investigated into various means to check up, what is required for the human happiness. Already they have done it. After making all their efforts, they experienced and developed a methodology called meditation and given to the mankind. And request us, all people, they have been professing that please do meditation, do meditation, do meditation. Across the world, not only from any part of a small part of any of this globe, not here and there, everywhere it is. Meditation is everywhere. Here you see Swami Vivekananda. He is a spiritual master from Indian land, and he went to foreign Western countryside and introduced the spirituality there also. Everybody of all of us, knows what he did. Across the world, he is famous for his sentences, for his words, for uttering few words, which are a sort of spiritual values to the whole humanity across the world. He said, my dear sisters and brothers of America, So this is what yoga, because he is a yogi, so he went through that language. He called everybody brothers and sisters. We're all one. He said spiritual knowledge is the only thing that can destroy our miseries forever. If you want that you should be free from all sorrow, all worry, all sorts of problematic life and all those things, then what you should do? Only spiritual science will come to your rescue. If you know spiritual science and if you follow that, you will be free from sorrow. That's what he says. And any other sciences, whatever you want, now there are so many other sciences we have been. All sciences are only of the nature of or physical sciences. That is dealing in elements of the nature, elements of the universe. What are those things? 5 elements are there. What are those things? Prithvi, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha. Prithvi means earth, water, fire, air, and space. These are the 5 elements are there, and we are all studying only on those things. That's it. Those things are not removing your miseries. Those things are not dealing with any kind of your mind and soul, which are the cause of your well-being, in fact. You should know who you are to be happy, otherwise you will never be happy. Okay. So the cause of happiness lies in your heart, that is soul. So if you understand the soul or soul science, then you will be at it. Then you will not miss it. Otherwise you will miss it. That's what is happening as on today. Many of all of us, we miss happiness because we are not understanding where the happiness is. We don't read soul science. My dear masters, one more gentleman called Mahatma Gandhi is also from the northern side of the western side of the Indian soil, and he brought a sort of independence to India, and he was called Mahatma for his great contribution to the humanity. He is also a sort of a great personality of yoga. He is yogi. He said that I shall not bear ill will towards anyone. Adhyashta sarvabhutaram maitraha karuna evacha. See, what a beautiful the sort of spiritual value he has been with throughout his life. I shall not bear ill will. Adveshta means no hating others. Okay. No hating others. I will not have any bad opinion against anyone. Maybe that person, good or bad, that is not my concern. It is his concern. But as far as I am concerned, I will be always try to be good. I will always love everybody. I will not hate anyone. So this is a beautiful spiritual value. Every one of us, without any exception, must have. And he also says that it is not a freedom if it does not allow one to commit errors. So to err is human, and why are you necessarily bothering too much about somebody does a mistake? You go on punishing, you go on worrying about it, and you waste a lot of time on that. And you shout and eat somebody's head. That is not correct, because to err is human, to correct is divine. You should only correct the error if you find out some error with somebody, but not apply violence on him, not punish him. Don't apply violence for every mistake. So mistake is possible, permitted, no problem. It is not a crime, my dear masters. Kindly understand this. I'll speak about this in the coming classes of enlightenment. And for this, it is fine if you understand that violence need not be against any error. You can only point out error, but not unnecessarily apply violence on them. Don't shout on them. Don't complain against them. Don't blame them. You only suggest the rectification. And repeated mistake is, of course, is a crime. Repeatedly, one should not do mistake. Okay, wantonly we should not do. Okay. So this is all what we have to. And Buddha, Gautama Buddha is also known worldwide. I need not explain much. And he has given 3 dictums, triple gems. They are known by the word triple gems. Triple means 3. Gems means like gold, diamonds, Number 1 is Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. And he understood that I am not the physical body, or I am not something else. I am only Buddhi, that's it. I am Buddhi means awareness. Buddhi means consciousness. Buddhi means consciousness, wisdom. So wisdom is all what I need. That's what he understood. So I salute my Buddhi. So I will take refuge under my Buddhi. So I always go according to my Buddhi. So this is what is required for all of us. We should cultivate wisdom in our mind and go by that. And you should not follow others. You should follow your own Buddhi. This is called intuition. So you should go by your intuition. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami is equal to you should always go by your own intuition in your conduct. And number two is, I will tell you, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. Okay. He said, second diamond from his mouth is called, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. What is Dharma? Dharma is known as non-violence. Ahimsa paramo dharma. So to save time, I am going fast. Ahimsa paramo dharma. So ultimate dharma, there are so many kinds of dharmas and all those things are there. So we will discuss at a later stage. Now for this class, this is sufficient. What is that? Ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa means no himsa, no violence. So don't hurt anybody. That is sufficient for your well-being, You will be definitely taken care of by your own beautiful value. That is called non-interfering with others, non-hurting others. That is the ultimate dharma for us. Okay. And I have to salute for that. And then third one is Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. He said, I have to take salute with all others, all co-humans, co-brothers, co-friends, animals also. All creatures on this, I have to salute everybody here because I am in the society. Without society, I cannot exist. So he told about this. What do you understand by this term? Without society, you cannot exist means how? Everybody exists, on his own. Nobody tells when he is going and nobody tells when he is coming. Then where is the question of linkage with the society and all those things? But my dear master, this should be understood in such a way that once you are here on this planet with physical body, you need some sort of a livelihood and for taking care of the body. Understand? So you have to do some work and everything. For that, we have to mingle with everybody and take care of the total society. How and why? How means we are interdependent. We have to help somebody and he will also help in turn us also. How? Suppose a farmer is there. If the farmer is not there, then we will be finding short of food material because there is no cultivation of land and no food will be available to us, isn't it? So we have to salute the farmers. And the similar way, cloth is there. It is stitched by a tailor. And if the tailor refuses to stitch for you, then you will have to go without shirt, isn't it? So we have to salute the tailors. Like that, a boy got gold medal today means he should salute so many people behind it. He should salute first his mother, brother, father, everybody, his friends and everything, everybody. And a teacher who worked for him. And even to go to the examination hall, he should salute the rickshawala or transport person who carried him to the examination hall. But for he would not have got it, isn't it? So this is how we know it is interconnected. Interconnectivity is there, the whole society. That's why Buddha said you are interdependent, not dependent. You are dependent as well as he is also dependent on others, like that. Interdependency is there. So we have to salute everyone. So this is what the wisdom from Buddha. Okay. And Mahavira also has come. So these people are from India. And he also got enlightened after practicing meditation for long 12 years, And then he said, a living body is not merely an integration of limbs and flesh, but it is the abode of soul. And we are not the flesh and bones. We are in fact the personality of the soul. We are in fact the soul, because where consciousness is coming out. We are the consciousness. That is the resonance of the soul. We are the souls. That's what he said. And one more southern master of Indian soil is Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. He said that I am myself the God. Okay. So he said, I am the energy. So any master, who understood the truth is going only to tell about the single truth, because that is only available truth. So Sivoham, I am the God of Siva, like that he said. And Jesus Christ, and he gave wonderful lessons after doing meditation for nearly around 40 days meditation by a group of meditators called Essenes, okay, in Jerusalem. And he got enlightened. And he said only two directives he has issued. What are those things? Love yourself and love their neighbor. That's the end of the game. Okay, that is a beautiful lessons for ultimate enlightenment. The person should try to love himself first. He should know the truth that I am the God and start saluting himself, his own buddhi. That is called loving yourself. Self means soul. You should love the soul because that is awareness. Similarly, love your neighbor. So neighbor means whoever available in front of you is your neighbor. So the whole members of the society will be in front of you, one after the other. So you will be able to love everyone. So this is the message given by great soul, Jesus Christ. He is the wonderful genius upon the earth planet, who has excused, even though he has been subjected to a lot of uh, pain and all sorts of torturing. They have nailed his hand. So how much of pain he experienced, but he said, leave them, excuse them, because they do not know what they are doing. Such a great personality. We have to hats off to him. And then Prophet Muhammad is one of the greatest personality. And he said he also underwent a lot of meditation in a cave called Hira. Okay, there is a cave near Makkah side, and he did meditation inside and came out and told, surrendered himself. Okay, he was illiterate, but after meditation, he could give the messages of wonderful which are necessary for society well-being. Surrender to self. He said, you understand yourself and go by the self-knowledge. That's what he said. That is, self-knowledge means buddhi, intuition. So same message by many, many masters. Okay, message is same. And equality of mortals. Zarathustra, he is also one of the great leader, spiritual leader. And now many people are following him in India, And he said that all are same, all are mortals. Mortals means who are not permanent here, Everybody has to vacate their bodies, Immortality means no death. Mortality means having death. Okay. And Lobsang Rampa is a Tibet master, and he said that you are forever, okay? You have no death. This is the message he gave by wonderful experiments in his lifetime, okay? And he wrote a book, You Are Forever, and Third Eye also, He understood what is his awareness, and he is the sixth senses, and all those things. He propagated, he experienced what is astral travel, and he has written a book very beautifully account of his own astral travels in meditation. Hazrat Inayat Khan, okay, the soul is not belonging to you, it is yourself. And he went on to tell, my dear masters, you understand that you are the soul, you are not the other thing, body or some such thing else. No, please. You are the soul, soul itself is yourself. That is the utter truth he wanted us to understand. Okay. He is the person who has given the alchemy of happiness. Kindly take the book and go into finding out the truth, what he has told. Alchemy of happiness. Happiness is self. There is nothing that gives you happiness. Only your own self will give you happiness. If you want to be happy, you can be happy. No other person can make you happy. If you are not willing to be happy, nobody can make you happy. That's what he said. And Khalil Gibran, the prophet, the wonderful book he has written, The Prophet. And he said, your children are not your children. They come through you, but not from you. So all of us, we come from our Atmic worlds. We are coming from our upper worlds. We are not coming from this planet, or we are not coming from the mother's wombs. We are only coming from the upper worlds through the wombs of the mothers and get delivered onto the earth planet. That is all what we are supposed to, what is happening with us. So that's why he said, don't unnecessarily say this is my son, and if he is not doing well, you are not supposed to unnecessarily bother and break your head. So your life you lead perfectly, and his life he will lead perfectly. Give him freedom. Don't bind anybody. Don't hurt anybody because they are not belonging to you. They come from their own purpose, from the upper worlds. Every soul is independent and nobody is connected to anybody. We are all one, connected by soul. That's it. So there is no other relationship, no blood relationship, in fact. It's a physicality. This blood will be only temporary. It will go into the mud, when once you give up the body. Then where is the relationship? But soul relationship is permanent. Again, you are, after giving up the body, you will be there again. Okay. So that is what we should understand. In Bhagavad Gita, it was enunciated very well, And once he said, at one particular context, Krishna says to Arjuna, "Oh, my dear Mr. Arjun, you don't know. You are thinking you are killing the other people and they will vanish. No, they don't vanish. Nachayvana bhavishyamaha, natu aham, natyeva, natvam, natu eva aham. Nasam, na image aradhipaha. All these things and everything, yourself and myself, you are thinking that we will vanish. No, no, no. Nacheva na bhavishyamaha. It is not that we are not going to be available further. Don't think that way. We will be always there. We'll meet again in the upper worlds. That's what he said. So don't worry about the death, and death is not there. Death is only for physical body, and nobody is your son, nobody is your relationship here. They are all coming for their own purposes. They live for the duration destined for themselves, and you cannot change the lifestyle of anybody. You cannot change the life duration of anybody. You are responsible for your life, and you have to be happy and complete your purpose of life and then get away. So this is wonderful knowledge. You have to read the book Prophet. And Richard Bach, he is from US, Western side, he said, he understood very well the spiritual science, and he said, nothing is the worst thing that can happen to you. He said, nothing worst will happen to any one of us, because whatever happens is only our own creation. Law of karma is operating. If you do good, you will get good. If you do bad, you will get bad. So now you are in trouble means that you have created that trouble for yourself only by your wrong actions, if not now in the past time or in the past life or whatever it is. Because so many events we are doing and we are not having an account of this, and we don't remember also all those things. But the divinity or everything it takes place. The law of karma is prevailing over the world. Everything is being recorded by the divine. Akashic record is maintained. So the creation has taken care of everyone for every activity. You understood? So he said, nothing, don't worry if something happens, you understand that it is your own creation, so don't bother about it. Again, after some time, you will get new thing. Everything, nothing is permanent. Okay. So whatever you are now in trouble, it will go. It will not be there for a long time. It will go away. And Lord Jew, and he is a Tao master, he said, when you realize there is nothing lacking here, and the whole world belongs to you. And here, if you understand that everything is here, I don't need anything, and I am the richest person here because I have trees, I have fruits, I have river to take bath, anything, everything available here. If you understand that, then you don't feel any sort of problematic in this world. So that is a beautiful enlightenment. And Ching Hai from Vietnam, she says that for all solutions, only one, for all problems in the life, only one solution. What is that? Just try to love your problem also. You say to the problem, okay, I agree, that, fine, okay, next. So give way for that, and it will go, and next thing you can do it. If you are saddled with that, then it will not leave you, and your mind will be eaten away by that. So don't allow that. You just ignore that and go further also. Okay. And Confucius, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time. And he said wonderful truth he has given. Suppose if you are in trouble, you have fallen down, but if you raise again, if you get up again, you can walk and further you can complete the work and there is no problem. But if you do not get up, then your work will be spoiled. That's how nothing is happening. Everything, whatever this, whatever inconvenience you faced, whatever problem you are facing, you just come out of that. You will be having a beautiful future. So there is, suppose in even wrestling also, if somebody is knocked down, he'll fall uh, flat on the ground, but he will not be declared out immediately. They will be given chances 1, 2, 3. Okay. So after counting 1, 2, 3, if he doesn't get up, then only he will be declared out. Otherwise, he will be declared not out, isn't it? So does not mean that you miss the bus once, second time you can get up. Okay. That is very important in the life. And Socrates is said to be father of spiritual science in the olden days. He is from Greece, Athens city, his native place was. And there is a story about this gentleman because he is a very, very knowledgeable person and he's a very, very a great spiritual master. And when once he was walking by, he saw some group and there was some talk on spiritual science by one of the masters there. And because he was interested in spiritual science, he went and sat in the corner of the audience. Then after the speech is over, and one of them, audience side, he got up and asked the master, can you say, who is enlightened master? Enlightened master means Gnani, Brahma Gnani. Who is that person? So such question, this speaker had to answer. And he thought for a while, and he said that there is some gentleman sitting there in the corner. You see him, that he is a Brahma Gnani. So everybody looked at that side, wherever he pointed out. That person, there was Socrates. Suddenly Socrates got up after hearing this. Oh, Guruji, what you are telling is wrong, I am not an enlightened master. I don't know anything. How did you know that? You do not know about me. Kindly withdraw your statement. Then all people have laughed at that comment. Okay. Then the master said, okay. He thought for a while. Okay. He says that he is not a Brahmajnani. So then he asked Socrates, Masterji, okay, accepted. You do not know anything. But you tell me whatever you know something, Somebody must be knowing something else. Whatever you know, you can tell him. You can tell that. We will listen. He asked. For that, Socrates replied, Masterji, I already told you that I do not know anything. Again, you are asking. But now I will tell you, I know fully. I don't say I don't know, but I know that. I know. What is that I know? I know that I do not know anything. That much only I know. Then again, all the people laughed. Then this master said, my dear master, that is the reason why I call you enlightened person. Because you know that you do not know, this is the enlightenment. In fact, nobody knows who is the creator is. Everybody thinks that he knows something. You ask any one person here, in the group, in this audience, everybody says, I know something. Nobody accepts that he does not know anything. So the person who is on the truth, he is an enlightened master. So this is the wonderful spiritual science master, and he is known over the world, of his spiritual knowledge. Milarepa from Tibet, the affairs of the world will go on forever. Do not delay the practice of meditation. He ultimately says, Baba, everything will be going on like this only. For and against, people will be taking up this, that, and all those things. Confusions will be there. But first you start meditation, afterwards you see, like that. So he wants us to do meditation first. So it is mandatory to learn spiritual science through meditation. That is most important. Education is complete only when we study both physical and spiritual sciences. Or else, we are incomplete. We are left behind with incomplete, because when we do not know the physical science, we will be short. When we do not have the spiritual science, we will be short. Only way is meditation for both the sciences. Okay. So thank you very much. And this is the text as far as the sciences are concerned. Okay. On types of sciences and the views of our great spiritual masters on the knowledge of meditation. Okay. Now, today's topic is, for half an hour, we will speak on this topic. What is the topic today? It is divine matrix. Okay. I'll share the screen. This PSSF movement, global UAE. So, hats off to the PSSM masters of local people, that is UAE, Abu Dhabi. Okay. And the PSS Academy also coming out of that from Bangalore, India. Okay. Jointly, we bring up this presentation. And that we have the emblem, depicting the wonderful three pillars of the spiritual science. Every day we are speaking on this. The idea is that this is very important and you should not forget so easily. And I would like to repeat once again, only these three matters only kindly. I don't speak much about it, but very fast to tell you about this. First thing is love. Love is no hating, and this is noble value. And second one is light. Light is equated to Gnana Jyoti, that is wisdom. Define wisdom means you have to only answer that wisdom is having clarity over what is right and what is wrong. That's enough. And third factor is having potentials, that is power. You must be potential to stand on your own leg and manage yourself. This is the lesson from the third point. If you are managing yourself, then definitely, if you help yourself, then you are more powerful and you can help others also. And you can manage the whole world. If you manage yourself, you can manage the whole world. Okay? Yes. Ethical and yogic science, divine matrix. Okay? This is the target of the science is just made very simple. Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji's style of learning and teaching, preaching is only simple sentences. That's what we are also trying to give you in very simple terms. Divine matrix. What is that? We'll check up. It is the cosmic web, in fact. Divine matrix is the cosmic web. In this web, what web means, it is all connected each other. Okay, isn't it? So it is like a wire, connecting everything, it is like that. Web. It connects everything in the universe. Nothing is there without any connection. Connecting physicality, that is, if things are there, we can connect, and spirituality, and we are all spiritual because by self it is connected, and all the miracles are pertaining to the humanity, and time and space. Time also, the moment is facilitating the time, and the moment is facilitating the space also. Okay, and speed also is movement based on the movement of the things or energy, movement of energy, thought waves. And quantum physics is just a flow of energy to one side, from the other side, from this side, from that side, every side it is flowing. Okay, that is quantum. That is endless. It is omni. It is everywhere. Okay, but all energies is cornered. No, there the thought will arise. Okay, it is like that. When it is pulled at what particular point, there something will be coming up. So if you concentrate on something, there you will have a sort of an idea. Okay, so the idea gives thoughts. It is like that. And then belief systems and imaginations, concentrations, nature and relationship, everything in our life, it is energy. So the energy is contacting, this putting together all of these things of humans. And we are the web. Our mind is the axle, center of the web. And mind is in the center point. When the wheel is there, the wheel is dependent on the axle, the center point. That center point is mind. So if the mind is there, everything is understood. If mind is not there, nothing is understood, and the soul will give up the body and goes away to the astral, atmic worlds. Okay. My dear masters, physical science cannot solve the misery of nature, since we ourselves are part of the mystery. So our body is also a physical science only. So how can we understand? We cannot understand our own head. So we have to understand ourselves first. So that is the reason physical science cannot manage us. And there is some other science is there to leak out the inner qualities of our existence. Okay. So physical science cannot decide about the spiritual science. When we understand ourselves and our consciousness, we also understand our nature, and the separation disappears. Now we are thinking, I am different, and the tree is different, the animal is different, and you are different, I am different, like that, because we are in physicality. Suppose if you are understanding your own self, you do meditation, go internally and check up, and you are the consciousness, and that consciousness is seen in everybody, Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma. That means whatever you have in your body, that same thing is available in another person, because he is also doing similarly, He is also speaking, he is also thinking, yeah, whatever you do, he is able to do. That's why there is no difference. And you will understand that I and you both are same. So that is very important. Physical sense cannot investigate the consciousness. It has no instrument to measure spiritual data. And nobody can see how much of consciousness you have. So you cannot measure the wisdom, what you have. You can measure the knowledge. Suppose if you are asked to do some work, and if you do that, you can say, okay, this much of work you have done. So your knowledge only this much. But wisdom, you cannot understand that. You can give any amount of ideas, you can give any amount of solutions like that. Physical science can study only waking state. That also is very important. Mind has got 4 states of minds, and physical sciences are with only one state of mind, that is called consciousness. That's it. That is Jagrata Avastha, awareness. When once you are opening the eyes, you are making use of the mind. If you close the mind, if you close your eyes, that is, you go into sleep mode, then no mind is necessary. And then you go into dreams, then there is no physical world, so that you don't need the mind for conducting the physical world. And 4th state is Turiya state. In Turiya state, we don't even have the mind, and that is only the status of Atma. So, no necessity of mind. So, we have to worry about only one state of mind, what is called consciousness, that is awareness. That is, when you open your eyes, then only you should be careful about this mind activity. The cosmos is of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether in spherical form. So that the cosmos is a complete whole consisting of parts that are wholes. So the cosmic is all part of completeness. It is, we have to understand that it is designed to, nothing can be taken from and added to that. See, whatever thing here you are seeing is complete in all aspects. So their a mother gives birth to a child, and child is complete in all aspects. Okay, there is nothing. Any species give birth to another species, but that species independently can live together without dependence on its mother. Okay. Mother will not lose anything while delivering the baby. Their body is not lost. Not even any part of the body will not be given to anyone. Complete body will come out after that. That's the reason, we are all wholes. There is no question of half or part. Every soul is complete in all aspects. You understand? So that we'll explain further. In the olden times, physical scientists also have been examining the spiritual science. And 17th century, Mr. Newton was on the work to understand what is this movement and all those things. He said force is mass into acceleration. Everybody, whatever visible to the eye, they were only studying that aspect. Because the force is there, things are moving. So everybody is only with that kind of frame of knowledge. So mass and acceleration. Something is moving, then it generates friction or force. That's what they're able to understand. And David Hume in 1732, common era it is, C means common era. Until we know the connection of cause and effect of things, all human knowledge is so only. So we should know what is the relationship between the cause and effect. Cause and effect. Something is happening, but why it is happening, we can't understand. So unless we know the cause and effect, both are there, we cannot. But it is not possible in the human world because we don't remember. Yesterday we shouted against somebody, today somebody is retorting, but we have forgotten about yesterday's shouting. And you will be angry now. Okay. So then things will go wrong. It is like that. He was telling that Immanuel Kant, metaphysics is a dark ocean without shores or lighthouse, strewn with many a philosophical ray. Say the source of metaphysical sciences is not complete in all aspects because everybody will say something about something. It is not in full, so we cannot understand. It is like in the ocean, and something is thrown this way, that way, this way, that way. Suppose a ship is completely damaged, then how can you find all the ship at one place? So parts are strewn, that means are scattered here and there, so you cannot find out anything in there. Like that it is. And in the 19th century, Albert Einstein has come, the very famous scientist, and he said that E is equal to mc square. And he came that energy is in the matter. That's why matter is seen. Otherwise, it will be in the form of energy. Energy is not visible. Okay. When energy is mixing with the object, then the object is manifested. Otherwise, object will be in the form of energy. That's it. So matter and energy, they do not have separate existences. Both are mingled each other. Energy is inside the matter, and matter has got the energy inside. And if matter is not there, energy is there, but matter will not be understood, not seen. Okay. Energy and matter are interchangeable. Under some circumstances, we can suppose if water is heated, then it is split into oxygen and hydrogen. Okay. H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Water will not be seen because they are all in the form of hydrogen and oxygen. Again, if you cool them up, then they join together and water bubbles will form, and we call water H2O is coming. It is like that. Under some circumstances, a man also is getting enlightened. It is like that. Kant was telling interconnectivity of the space and matter. In the first, it is inner activity. Second one is external activity, and togetherness. When breathing in and breathing out is happening around. The cells will be breathing and in and out, in and out, in and out. This is the movement actually, and this is the special spherical in and out waves from a standing wave. These are the waves of energy system that goes in and that goes out. Because of the soul, this sort of breathing is happening. How breathing is happening? It is because of the effect of waves from the self, energy waves, that initiates the breathing out and breathing in. So understand that. Energy connects all of the creation. All of the creation, energy field acts like a bridge. This we have already understood. And energy field, it is like a mirror, and we communicate with the field. Okay, energy field, what is talked about is expressed here. We form energy field. Wherever it is more, that will be taking shape. That will be a sort of thing. And another thing is somewhere. But both the things are connected by energy. That is working as bridge. You understand? So I am standing here, you are standing there. In between, there is nothing. But where is nothing? Nothing means is connected by energy. So we are there, you are there. If the energy is not there, then we will be joined together. And then we cannot live also. Okay. then no space. The space is covered by energy system, that it works as a bridge. That's what we should understand. The act of focusing our energy, of our consciousness, is an act of creation. If we focus, there will be a creation. Wherever concentration, there is a creation. So that is called quantum physics, and that is called consciousness and concentration. Time, it is preventing anything from happening. Suppose if anything happen, you break it. Now you are going to take food, but you stop it for some time. Then you will be saying, I will take half an hour to take the food. Okay. So the half an hour is created by you. Okay. So when you stop something, the time is created there. So that's how it is to be understood. Okay. We are the mirror and face in it. And we are only doing all these things, and we are to understand how our mind is acting to form the time and speed and everything. Okay. The waves are released from the consciousness and creating all these things. Space is not empty, it is filled with consciousness. So Charles Gilchrist, one scientist, he has shown the sacred geometry. In the previous classes sometime I have already shown this, but anyway, I will also show this now for the newcomers, who have joined. Okay, I will show the videos later on. Now we will go for the spiritual perspective of understanding this sort of divine matrix, how it is acting as bridge and how it is complete in all aspects. Okay, how creation is dependent on the mind. All these are all the things are there, divine matrix. Okay. And spiritual perspective. Otherwise, I will show the videos and then we will come back. Minutes time. Yeah. How the universe is made into a web, cosmic web. Yes, masters. Yeah, now you have seen from the physical scientists have found out all these things, from the means of a lot of implements, lot of instruments. With the assistance of so much of physical instruments, they could find out that what is all these solar and cosmic webs and all those things are there. Okay, now how to understand this from the spiritual side, spiritual perspective. Just we'll see for 5 minutes. So I request you to step back for 5 minutes further. For spiritual perspective, okay, we have from the Vedic wisdom, from the Indian soil, knowledge from any corner of the globe, we have to understand whether it is India or China or Germany, Japan, Western side, any side of the globe, we must equally respect and accept whatever knowledge comes from. It is like that. And in Indian scriptures, it is well laid down that Akhanda Mandalakaram. See, Akhanda Mandala means wheel. It's a circular, spherical object. Akhanda Mandalakaram. Akhanda means no limit, limitless. The meaning of the word mandala in Sanskrit is a circular web. It is called Akhanda Mandalakaram Yena Vyaptam Characharam. So everything is already laid down. It is not of today's. It is from the ancient, from the creation itself, people understood. So this creation is like a cosmic web. And there is no limit, limitless. And it is on spherical side. That is what Charles Gilchrist, of late he found out. He has also analyzed it and come to the same conclusion. Hats off to the physical scientists also coming to the level of spiritual inner science. Okay. Only gradually did I discover what the mandala is. That is one, Carl Jung, and he also confirmed that I also got the same information that Earth is around. That is, universes are all in spherical nature. Okay. So, like this, mandala is there. And how we understood this is by means of meditation. We have to go internally and understood the nature of our own nature itself is the nature of the universe. What is inside is outside. So that is the reason once, our people could find out it right at the time of creation by being investigators of inner science. By looking into inner journey, they made inner journey by astral travels and all those things, they could understand that we are that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that. Not this physical body, I am that, which is having the cosmic web, which is the cause of the cosmic web, connecting every one of us. And this is the cosmic energy, the Kautilya has given the meaning in distinctly, in Ishavasya Upanishad is also explained. Ishavasya Idagam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatjam Jagat. In Sanskrit, a lot of spiritual knowledge has been hidden, has been packed up in various scriptures like Upanishads, like Srutis, like Smriti Kavyas, like Prasthanatrayam. So many spiritual contents are there, A lot of information is available. And slowly all these things are getting explored by the physical scientists from time to time. And then it also understood that second point is that we are complete in all aspects. So somebody says something is divided into two parts. The Charles Gilchrist has said that conscious is divided, every cell is divided into two parts. And that two parts became four parts. The universe has become web of these parts. But every part is complete. Every part is having every nature, every as capacity of that in the first part. That is what Purnamidam Purnamadaha Purnat Purnamudachyate. This is the definition given in Sanskrit. Purnamidam, Purnamadaha. This is complete and that is complete. From there it is coming. From where it is coming, that is also is complete. Purnat Purnamudachyate. From the completeness, a complete thing will come out. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. See, Purnasya Purnamadaya. Suppose from the complete thing, if you remove something else from that, again that something also is complete, and from which you have taken that, it also remains complete. It is not losing anything. The example what I have discussed, what we have just discussed, any species give rise to a new offspring for that. A mother gives rise to a birth, to a baby. The baby is complete in all aspects with legs and all in external and internal organs, consciousness, and everything like mother. So mother is not bound to lose anything by giving delivery to the baby. Yes, sir. The baby is complete, mother also is complete. So that is what we have to understand. And all these things is coming out of the self. Self is the center part, and from self, the prana exists. It comes out, division takes place. Prana, they have been created. And prana, from prana, the mind is created. Every prana has got the desire. Desire has been created for food. Food is created for that. And ether, that is space, and a lot of energy is occupied in the space. This side vigor, okay. And then air is created, okay. And then penance is already there for that. Fire, and it is a gnana. Fire means jyoti, and Vedas, that means wisdom is given. Then water is coming out of that. Then the entire mix of, with water you can do anything. The sacrificial rites and all sorts of karma can be done by that. And earth, from earth, so we can make everything, new things. We can meddle with the earth. Earth has got everything. Earth has got everything which is useful to the inhabitants of the earth. Okay, and senses, and we by the senses we give some identity for all of us. This is how we know from the self. All the 16 parts have come. These are all 16. 8 is this side, 8 on this side. Okay, so these are all coming out of the self. So that is the cosmic web in us. Okay, we are all connected by that. This video also you can see just in another 2 minutes. A soul is a star, okay? From there everything comes up. So the breath is giving rise to the waves of light. The first cause manifests, from the wave of the breath. Breath is the effect of soul. So soul releases the energies, and that energy takes the form of breathing. And from the breathing, the first cause manifests of the human. Okay. The whole thing is just existing because of the breathing. Every cell of anything, whatever we see, whatever unseen, and everything is breathing. Okay. Everything breathing, 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 breathing. That is one universal, immutable, eternal, and absolute unity. And everything is same of the same nature. There is no differences at all. That's what it is going to be. soul goes around and understands, the whole various aspects of its own creation. Okay. And balances. Yes, masters. So thank you very much. This is the presentation from the PSS Academy. Namaste. Okay. So thank you. I'll stop the sharing. So masters, this is the spiritual perspective. Spiritual side, the energy flows, the self, the soul, it goes on creating itself, in various aspects of the go into cells, cells will go into the formation of the stars will go into planets, and again it will go into light system. And mortality and immortality and everything it will understand, and individual side and group side and everything, it is like that. That is called Akhanda Mandala Akaram. And spiritual scientists also, they have understood that they are the web, cosmic web, this cell division takes place and stars are formed. Okay. So the cosmic, that is secret geometry they call, and this is called stellar mating, maters. Maters means mating is creation, sushti. Stellar means importantly, very, very basic. That is called stellar. Okay. So stellar matters. These are all, created by creation. Okay. Mating means creation. So this entire universe, how it is created. Shambhala creation, it is. It is like that. Okay. So these two perspectives we would like to try to understand. Okay, with this, thank you very much. We today we have discussed about the first part, the half of the first yesterday's class about the knowledge of the spiritual scientists in respect of meditation knowledge. And today's part is divine matrix and how the divine matrix has been understood by the humans in the physical side as well as on the spiritual side. Okay. So these are all the bodies constituted by means of consciousness. That is self-creation. Okay. So now, over to Koteshwara garu. Okay.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time and efforts again. So now we can take 5 minutes if anybody have any questions or if anybody wants to express something, sir.
Sure, sure. Masters, I request everyone,
Yeah.
to speak about. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Sir, today, sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I talk,
Speak on.
or do you want me to wait?
Yeah. Please,
on.
Sri M. Yeah. Please continue.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Can you give more information on Shambhala? Like, what is the significance of Shambhala? Why?
Shambhala.
How does it impact us, or what is the role of Shambhala? Because I'm hearing about that word lately so many times, so I just want to understand what exactly is Shambhala.
Shambhala itself is a subject. No, I think we will be discussing this topic in our 6th or 7th topic. We are having that subject. Okay, we have
Okay, sir.
cosmic governance. Okay, in that it is explained totally. So now we will deal with the current subject, and definitely you can just remind also after the topic is there. We will discuss elaborately about it in the coming class. You kindly wait for that. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Sir. Yeah, I am very happy about the interest you have shown. But there is a class further, So let us go by that. Any other
Sure,
master,
sir.
please? Any other master?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Continue. Yeah, please.
Is my voice audible, sir? Is my voice audible, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm able to
Continue.
hear.
Yes.
Yes, sir. It was very nice class, sir. Even yesterday and today topic also, it's very nice. Like it is completely different. What we do in our professional things, it is like both are full different things only. So it is like very good thing. Gaining this knowledge is. I am also feeling very nice. I am also almost 7 years meditation, but going in deep understanding this much knowledge is like still I am feeling very happy. We listen about thought, power, mind, but going in detail this physical science, metaphysical science, it is very nice. The terminology also we have not heard much very deep also. Now these terms now we can even explain to others also. Generally we listen physical science, metaphysical, but in detail we don't know. Now we are able to have more clarity because when we explain it is difficult. Now we have made even the PDF also. That is really helpful for us. Even if you miss out your any words, by reading the PDF, it is self-understanding easily. Even later on also we can recall it. After this class also, whenever we want to explain about these topics in our sessions anywhere, just by reading this PDF, it is so much self-understanding and easily you can explain. Because now myself also now started telling the Zoom classes. I myself now presently I'm staying in Qatar in Gulf. There I also am, every Friday we are doing sessions. Sir. I want to tell one or other topic to them. Now after listening to this, like these topics also I can share with them. Every Friday we can share this wisdom to them also. So I'm very happy to gain this wisdom. So thanks a lot for.
Yes. I am happy. The purpose of this class is only that what you have wished to do. That's right. Hats off to you. Carry to everyone. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Now,
Rajani madam, can I speak? Rajani madam, she's there.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, madam. Speak on.
I just joined just a few minutes back. I couldn't hear total. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
By the way,
Okay.
I joined mistakenly. Normally, we do have in India time, we do have night meditation timings at this time. So that's why I joined mistakenly. Sorry for that. So anyway, the topic is very nice and very good, and very informative. And later I will call Kodeshwara Garu and I will ask what is this about. So thank you.
Very good. Welcome. Welcome. Yes. Sharada madam is there?
I think she left. Oh, yeah, she's there. Yes.
She is there.
Maybe away from the device.
Master Sankit.
Close before meeting.
Nanaji has come.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Sir, I'm
Nanaji.
here only, sir. I'm here only.
You are there. Right. Very good.
Excellent class, sir. But this class, I need to go in depth. I have to go once again. I have to go through, sir.
Yes.
Extensive knowledge you have given.
Not once. Number of times.
Number of times, yes. Extensive. It is very vast knowledge.
Yes.
I'm so happy. So happy. This is tremendous knowledge you have. And the way you presented is mind blowing.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Welcome.
Excellent, sir.
Yes, all pyramid masters should be fully equipped with 100% knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Any question, you should be able to answer it categorically, clearly, without any confusion, without any dilemma. Okay. Nice. I'm very happy that people are raising. Now, what our madam, she is raising their hand. She is unable to unmute.
Yeah.
Lalita Garu.
No, she already.
3M, if you want to talk, you can unmute
No,
yourself and talk.
he already.
Yeah.
Okay. Finished. He's the one who requested for Shambhala topic. Yeah.
Oh, he has already spoken. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, Hanu.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. With this, we will close our meeting. Right, sir. Thank you very much.
Tomorrow's.
I request everyone to join tomorrow. It is the same link and again the same time, India time 8:15. And after that, next week again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
What is the topic?
After tomorrow. Tomorrow topic is define God.
Yes. So don't miss. And we'll be exclusively discussing the important factors of the ancient wisdom about the godhood or God.
Yeah.
We have to understand what is God. You should be able to crack the nut, okay, which is standing just like a solid rock in the humanity's mind. Not possible to understand, not possible to decode anything out of that. Just going on. People come and go, come and go. Okay, masters, thank you very much. I'm very happy. And then tomorrow again, we'll meet at the same time. Until then, goodbye. Okay. All the best.
Thank you.
All the best. Go through the slides, whatever given to you. And any doubts and everything, you can also ask tomorrow. No problem. Right? Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.